Rain or shine, the metro is usually still running, but that doesn't guarantee that escalators and elevators are, so make sure to give yourself enough time to get where you're going. While some embrace the new technology, others simply think that the iPad is a giant iPod Touch and would rather stick with their laptops. The gloomy weather matches the attitude of many AU students as the annual Founders Day Ball was canceled Sunday night. Even with the suspension of the student government vice president, we're hoping to have a successful event before the school year ends. The bottom line is, regardless of whether it's a chilly and gloomy afternoon like today or a bright and sunshiny day, visitors from all over the world will still be coming to see the cherry blossoms until April 11th. Amanda Simmons, District Wire News, Washington. The 18th annual National Cinco de Mayo Festival gave tourists an extra sight to see on the National Mall this weekend. At the Sylvan Stage next to the Washington Monument, there were traditional performances, a mariachi band, and even a dance competition for kids. Leticia Guerra, a longtime volunteer of the festival, talks about why it's important to her.
Me personally, I love how we all come together. This is just dance from all over Latin America and the Caribbean islands. So for me, just to see that everybody's proud to do that for their own country is more than enough.
The festival brings together people of all backgrounds and celebrates customs and traditions of different Latino cultures.
People dance so well, the music is so nice, and I love everything.
The festival's motto is that on Cinco de Mayo, everybody's Latino, and despite the humidity, the song, dance, and food seem to keep everyone's spirits up. Amanda Simmons, District Wire News, Washington. Out-of-service escalators and elevators in D.C. are so common that frequent Metro riders are shocked when there aren't any problems. Metro promises they are working to better serve you, but it seems that once one problem is fixed, another immediately springs up. According to Metro, there are currently 2 elevators and 50 escalators out of service. Students like Nicole Howard voice their frustrations at the Metro's service.
I feel like everything should be working efficiently, especially if you're going to provide a service for a certain type of people, then it should always have it, being efficient.
Woodley Park, Adams Morgan, is one of the stations with the most problems on a consistent basis. Unfortunately, it also happens to have some of the tallest escalators. How should Metro remedy the situation?
I know there's a lot of priorities for where funding goes, but at the same time I feel like Metro is a pretty valuable resource that almost everyone in the city uses, so I feel like it's definitely worth the investment.
Other D.C. residents, however, have different perspectives on the faulty system.
It seems to be a clue, like maybe time to not use escalators, maybe it's a cabbing time. Maybe that's what it means, who knows?
Rain or shine, the Metro is usually still running, but that doesn't guarantee that escalators and elevators are, so make sure to give yourself enough time to get where you're going. Amanda Simmons, District Wire News, Washington. Good afternoon, I'm Amanda Simmons. World leaders from more than 40 countries are meeting in Washington today for a nuclear summit. The group is discussing how to keep nuclear materials out of the hands of terrorists. President Obama says he hopes the summit will start a global effort against nuclear development by terrorist groups. Republican critics say the president isn't taking a tough enough stand against nuclear threats from Iran and North Korea. Elections in the Sudan are being extended for another 2 days. The Sudan Election Commission says it wants to make sure everyone gets a vote. Election monitors are complaining that voting hasn't even started in some parts of the country and that some voting stations have been moved without notice. This is Sudan's first multi-party election in a quarter century. It will determine whether current President Omar al-Bashir wins another term. Al-Bashir is under an international indictment for war crimes in Darfur. Russian investigators are blaming human error for the crash of a Polish plane that went down near the Smolensk airport in western Russia this weekend. Polish President Lech Kaczynski was killed, as well as other political, military, and religious leaders on board. There were no survivors. The flight crashed on the way to a memorial service. The weather was bad, and the pilot attempted to land in dense fog. Astronauts on the International Space Station are celebrating 2 historic events with a little bit of song and poetry. Tuesday marks the 49-year anniversary of the first space flight, and 2 Japanese astronauts are in space at the same time for the first time ever this week. The space station will have a party with a concert and a reading of a Japanese haiku. That's all we have for today. I'm Amanda Simmons. Tune in next time for District Wire News.